February 22nd, 2016. Feast of the Chair of St. Peter the Apostle.
A reading from the first letter of St. Peter. Beloved, I exhort the presbyters among you, as a fellow presbyter and witness to the sufferings of Christ, and one who has a share in the glory to be revealed. Tend the flock of God in your midst, overseeing not by constraint, but willingly, as God would have it, not for shameful profit, but eagerly. Do not lord it over those assigned to you, but be examples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd is revealed, you will receive the unfading crown of glory. The word of the Lord.
The response is, "The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want." The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. In verdant pastures he gives me repose. Beside restful waters he leads me. He refreshes my soul. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. Even though I walk in the dark valley, I fear no evil, for you are at my side, with your rod and your staff that give me courage. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. You spread the table before me in the sight of my foes. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. Only goodness and kindness follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for years to come. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When Jesus went into the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" They replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others Elijah, still others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter said in reply, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." Jesus said to him in reply, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my heavenly Father. And so I say to you, you are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of the netherworld shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." The Gospel of the Lord.
February 22nd, the Feast of the Chair of St. Peter. The first reading comes from the first letter of Peter, chapter 5, verses 1 to 4. There are some scholars who doubt that Peter wrote this letter, but in my opinion, I think it's attributable to Peter because it expresses a lot of the feelings that one would expect to come from this person. In fact, in this passage he speaks about the role of the presbyter. Presbyter means elder in the community. It seems as if in a lot of the communities there were councils of elders who ran the community, but also by this time there are episkopoi, overseers, what we today call bishops. Well, Peter tells these people in authority that they should tend the flock with care. They should treat it with respect. Remember, Jesus was the Good Shepherd, and he gave that responsibility to Peter. We hear that especially in the Gospel of John chapter 21, where Jesus asked Peter 3 times, "Do you love me?" When Peter says yes, the response is, "Tend my sheep." 3 times, remember, in Hebrew there's no comparative or superlative, so to say it 3 times is a superlative. Peter will be the shepherdist. We can't say it in English, but that's exactly what's being said. And his authority in the community is based on his willingness to love Jesus. It's not based on power, but rather on service. The Gospel comes from Matthew 16, 13 to 19. This is the passage in Caesarea Philippi where Jesus asked the disciples, "Who do people say that I am?" Peter responds, "You're the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus responds that this revelation has not come from himself, but it's from his heavenly Father. And Peter is given a new name. Up to this time he's called Simon. Now he's given the name Peter, which means rock. Now in the Gospel of John, Peter is given that new name, but it doesn't really explain what that means. And it's possibly a little bit of a joke. Cephas in Aramaic means rock. Cephas in Greek means head. So it might mean that Peter was considered to be a bit thick. The Gospel of John often puts Peter down. But in the Gospel of Matthew, it's the solid foundation on which the church is being built. We hear that the gates of the netherworld shall not prevail against the church. This is one of the few passages in the Gospels that uses the word church, here and later in chapter 18 of the same Gospel. And furthermore, the gates of the netherworld will not prevail against you. This is occurring at Caesarea Philippi, where there's a pool, the source of the Jordan, and overlooking this pool is a cave where the pagan god Baal had been worshipped for centuries. It was called the gates of the netherworld, so it's a sign of the diabolic powers that will try to attack the church, but will not prevail. Peter is given the keys of the kingdom of heaven. In the Old Testament, Yahweh has keys to life, death, and rain, precipitation. In the New Testament, Jesus has that authority. He's passing it on to Peter. And he's told that he will loose and bind. That's the power that rabbis had to decide how Jews should live their faith. Now Peter is being given that authority to decide how Christians should live our faith. And may God bless us.